Good evening and welcome to Conversations with Camden. This is Camden Military Academy's Admissions Director Casey Robinson. I'll be the host tonight, and we have some other cadets here that will be answering questions that you will be submitting to us. So please submit those questions using the hashtag Camden Military. Again, just type in the question on any social media platform. You can also Snapchat us, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. You can also just leave it right here in the YouTube chat box. But again, use that hashtag Camden Military. All right. So again, just want to thank you for joining us. Tell you a little bit about the school, and then we're going to meet our guests. So we are all male. I've had a couple phone calls lately from some looking for all girls schools. So I want to make sure that no co-ed or people looking for girls schools are watching. So we're all male, grades 7 through 12. We do offer 1 year of post-grad. So if you're looking for a gap year, you can actually enroll here at CMA and take all college classes your senior year or as a post-grad. So we can earn up over 30 credit hours of college courses here at CMA. Of course, we're in South Carolina. A lot of people get us mixed up with Camden, New Jersey. So we're a small southern town, kind of in the center of the state. We're about 30 minutes northeast of Columbia and about an hour and a half south of Charlotte, North Carolina. So if you're looking at us from outside the Carolinas and you need to fly in, you'd be flying into the Charlotte airport. Our philosophy here at Camden is to, build the whole man. So academics is very important. However, we do like to focus on things outside of the classroom. So we believe in developing him emotionally, mentally, spiritually, athletically, as well as academically. And all of those pieces come together to produce some of these young men that you're going to meet here tonight. So we're going to start with introductions. And Brent, why don't you go first and just kind of tell us your name, where you're from, what grade you're in, and how long you've been here?
From Mount Pleasant, South Carolina, and I have been here for about a year and a half.
All right. And then Garrett, how about you? Oh, I think we're having some audio troubles there. Let's try Maddox.
Yes, sir. My name is Maddox Brown. I'm a freshman at Camden Military, and I've been here for just over 1 year. And I'm from
All right.
Longmont, Colorado.
Okay. And lastly, Fireball.
Hi, I'm Sam Fireball. I've been here for now my second semester. I'm in 11th grade. I'm from Carmel, Indiana.
Okay. And let's try Garrett one more time. Garrett, let's see if your audio is fixed. Tell us again. Introduce yourself.
My name is Gary Guffey, and I'm from Newburgh, Oregon, and I'm in the 10th grade, and this is my first year here.
All right. Thank you. All right. So these four young men, again, you can see they're kind of from all over the country. You have guys, representing the West Coast all the way to the closest one being near Charleston and Mount Pleasant, South Carolina. So we do typically draw guys nationally and internationally. We have over 30 states represented and a handful of countries. The international student population has decreased some just because of COVID being a factor. After we are finished here tonight, if you still have questions, visit our website. There's lots of good information there. But we also are hosting Zoom informational sessions throughout the week. We have 1 to 2 planned each week, and you can find more details on that under the open house section on our website. And that would be a chance to speak with myself and maybe 1 or 2 other guys, in a very informal setting in a Zoom conference. So if that's something you're interested in, please check those out as well. All right, guys, your first question is going to come from me. And I just want to know kind of why Camden Military for you? Whose idea was it? Were you on board at the beginning? And let's start with Bryn.
Well, Camden was definitely not my idea at first. It was an exciting opportunity when I learned how valuable the academics were to how it would affect my career and my path. But yeah, it was my parents' decision. Their friend went to Camden, and he's a lawyer now, and he's done very well for himself, and it's doing well for me.
All right, good job. And how about you, Fireball? Whose idea was it? and why?
I would say it was a little bit of both. I originally went to my parents last like December of 2020, kind of knowing school-wise and socially at my old school I wasn't doing great, so I wanted to go to boarding school. I originally want to do something with athletics, golf preferably. But my dad came across this. We saw it was Christian based, and we thought it was a good opportunity. And when we went on the Zoom and talked to the staff members, we liked it, and based off that, we decided to come here.
All right. And Maddox, let's hear your story.
So it was a combination of what was happening at the house, and my parents suggested, well, I mean, you need an alternative to a good a structure that provides structure, or a place that provides structure, and they turned to this, and it was between here and somewhere in California, and we chose here. I mean, it's a great community, lots of brotherhood. I know that public school, you may think that like you're making friends, but this place is definitely more because you're surrounded by just like a great group of people. So yeah, it was both. Mainly my parents came to me first about it, and we definitely looked over it a lot. And look where I am now. I mean, I'm doing a lot better than I was a year ago, that's for sure.
All right. And Garrett, share your story with us, please.
I would say it was also a combination of both mine and my parents' idea. I didn't have the best grades, and I was making pretty poor decisions back in my old school, and this place has definitely helped me out a lot.
All right. Now that's Garrett. That was perfect segue. I want to talk about grades. So that's usually the number one reason young men come to us. Parents call me and they say, "Hey, my son's not doing well academically. He's not doing as well as he could be doing." And especially this year with a lot of virtual learning going on or hybrid settings, we've actually maintained face-to-face instruction all throughout COVID. So last year we did give cadets opportunity to go home. About half the corps went home. The other half stayed here, remained face-to-face. Um, but this year we opened up face to face and have maintained it with zero, knock on wood, positive cases of COVID. So we've not had any COVID here on campus. We kind of are like in a bubble here. So once we got them in and had them all tested negative, we were good to go. We were a little worried second semester coming back from Christmas, but again, we've been very, very, very fortunate. All right, but I do want to talk about grades. That was a long story to get there, but let's see. So, Brand, tell me your grades kind of before Camden and how they changed, and then maybe why they changed.
Right. So as a junior, I knew that it was my most important year for colleges, and I still was failing academically. I had about a 2.4, 2.5 GPA, and I wasn't really getting anywhere. So when I got to Camden, I was surrounded by studying, everyone talking about grades in classes, which was really helpful because it put me in that mindset. And now I have a 3.49 and I am taking all college credits. So I have 32 hours and I'll be able to skip a year of college.
That's awesome. And where are you hoping to go? You're a lone senior here, so what's your plans for next year?
Definitely USC, University of South Carolina.
That's right. Around here, USC means South Carolina. And if you're watching us from north of the border, Carolina, the real Carolina is in Columbia. All right. So now let's hear a story from Fireball. Fireball, what were your grades like before and how are they doing now?
Before I was around like C average, right around that area. And I realized obviously that wasn't great. So I came here thinking to redo my junior year, which is something my parents always wanted me to do, is do a extra year of one grade. And based off that, I just think the one-on-one and the smaller class size has helped me, and my grades are much better. I'm getting all A's and B's now. So it's definitely helped me a lot, and it will definitely help with my college decision.
All right. All right. Good stories, guys. All right. We do have some questions coming in now from our viewers. And again, I want to, remind you to please keep this an interactive session and send us your questions. Use the hashtag Camden Military. Again, post those on any of our social media platforms. hashtag Camden Military, and we will get those questions posed to these cadets tonight. All right, the first question coming from YouTube is, how's the food there? All right, Maddox, how about you tell us a little bit about the food here?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of different opinions, but I mean, I personally don't have a problem with a lot of the food. I mean, most of it, it's just, I mean, it's plain and simple. I mean, it's basically just like every other public school, but they put a lot more time and effort into it. A good staff in the dining hall, they take great care of what they're doing, and all of the food is, I mean, it's cooked right and it's actually decently good.
Yeah, we actually were any of you guys in the dining council the other day that we had? No?
I
Okay,
was.
so we actually have a dining council now that gives um, our nutritionist, the cook in there, a feedback from the cadet corps. So they get some input. What do you want to see again? Never want to see this again. Want to see this more often, that kind of thing. And one I kind of laughed because I had a guy write a blog for me about that meeting, and one big deal was we're going to start having BLT sandwiches at some point. That was something the cadet corps wanted. So there's some, we definitely like your feedback, and we're looking for ways to improve always. We would like to think we're doing everything right, but no one's perfect. So we'll welcome those suggestions. But I do have a question, guys. What's the favorite breakfast meal? Anybody?
I'd say the
I
one.
like I like I like the biscuits and gravy, to be honest. I know they changed the gravy, but I like it
All right.
still.
That's what I was looking for. And then I thought, wow, I don't have a lot of Southerners on here, so they might not get it. But yeah, biscuits and gravy tends to be, that's Wednesday morning breakfast that most guys look forward to having. So yeah, good. See, and Fireball, I got to ask, and I'll ask Garrett too. How about grits? Have you guys bought into the idea of grits
I
yet?
I haven't even tried them, to be honest. In Indiana, if you said grits at a breakfast place, they just look at you like you were stupid. So I didn't even know what they were until I got here, but I have not tried them now.
How about sweet tea?
I have tried that. That's pretty good. Yeah, in Indiana, it's just one tea. There's not sweet, unsweet, and
Yeah.
all the other teas. But yeah,
And Garrett, how about you? Are you a grits and a sweet tea fan yet?
I was pretty much the same thing. I'd never even heard of grits before I came here, but I also haven't even really tried the grits here. I've had them like a couple
Oh,
of
dear.
times, but
All right, guys. I'm taking you to breakfast one day this week. We're gonna try some real grits. All right. Yeah, I got to southernize you while I can. Okay. All right.
yes,
Next, someone
sir.
wants to know off YouTube, what are the rooms like? So let's go with Brent. Just kind of describe the typical room setup.
So the rooms, they're we have bunk beds and a desk. It's pretty spacious. You have you have drawers to organize everything. You have places to put things, and it's ideal because it gives you ways to make more room and be more creative. But yeah, it's carpet so you can vacuum, and tall. Yeah, they're
Tall
spacious.
ceilings. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they are probably as tall as they are wide, if not more so. But we do have, a variety of barracks here on campus. I think the one Bren lives in is an older one that actually predates World War II. So there's a lot of history attached there. And I think Maddox is over in Charlie Company, which is our newest barrack, opened up a couple of years ago. So, but again, the older barracks here have been refurbished and kept up. It's just a lot of history attached to those buildings, and we don't want to tear them down. So we have to keep, remodeling and a lot of maintenance costs, but we like to preserve the history. All right, another question. What time do we get up and what time is lights out? Um, let's throw that one to Garrett. What time do you get up, Garrett?
so
And what time do you go to bed?
well, it well the squad leaders in my company they all have to wake up at 5:30 just to get like an extra start because they're the ones that go through the rooms at 6:30, and then everyone else, the majority of people wake up at 6 o'clock, and then lights out is usually around 9 to 9:30.
And usually at 10 o'clock each evening, I live here on campus, so I hear it too. We play taps, and that's kind of the signal to the end of the day. So if you're still up, let's go to bed at 10. All right. How much physical training is there is another question. So Fireball, why don't you tell us a little bit about the physical training? How tough is it?
Um, It's not too bad. It's twice a week, one day with the whole battalion, one day with your company. Depending on whether it's sometimes inside, mainly outside. It's just push-ups, military presses. It's very military style stuff. It's not really any weights or anything like that. Every now and again, you'll run like a mile or something along those lines. So I don't find it too difficult, but it definitely helps your endurance and
Yeah.
abilities.
And it's not a boot camp, it is military style, but again, you don't have guys out there screaming, drop and give me 20. So that's not what we're about. And while we're on that, we do require students to participate in sports. So you either have to play a sport representing the school or intramurals. We're playing against each other here on campus. So you're basically doing something 5 days a week. The days you aren't doing PT, you're having drill. And let's see, how about Maddox? Tell us what drill is.
Well, so this week actually we have the upcoming Gold Star Parade. So if you maintained above a certain GPA and were on honors and deans for the whole semester, typically last semester, you get a Gold Star. So usually that's what we do on the week before the parade. We're there out there on the parade field drilling all morning. But so the days that we're not doing PT, the separate companies usually either draw weapons from the armory or we go in front of our barracks and do drills with either separate squads or the platoons, and it can be company based around the facial movements and different parts. So, yeah.
All right. And then,
And
yeah, go ahead, Brent.
drills are also like it's a good way for the companies to like practice being more in unison and looking better for to win honor company.
Yeah. So the honor company is kind of a competition that goes between the students all throughout the year. You're assigned to a barrack where you'll live with about 50 young men, and all those guys are constantly competing in every aspect, militarily, room inspections, uniform appearance, everything kind of goes into that honor company. All right, lots of good questions coming in. Keep them coming. Use hashtag Camden Military, and we'll get as many of them as we can tonight. Again, hashtag Camden Military on any social media platform or just right there in the YouTube chat box. Have a next question is a typical day in the life of a student. So let's get a typical day. I tell you what, guys, we'll split this between two of you. Garrett, why don't you tell us what it's like from, say, wake up until lunchtime, and then Fireball, you take it from lunchtime to lights out.
Yes, sir. So every day when we wake up, we immediately start cleaning our rooms and doing our hygiene stuff, and then around 6:45 ish, we'll go over to breakfast, and then right after breakfast, we go back to our companies, and that's when we do our fallouts, which is cleaning the common areas in our barracks, like sweeping the hallways and the stairwells and cleaning the bathrooms. And then after that, we'll go through our first through third period, and then depending on what day it is, we'll have tutorial in between one of those classes or in between right before lunch, and then we'll go to lunch right after that.
All right. And Fireball, why don't you take us from after lunch through?
So lunch ends around normally like 12:50. So after that, you get prepared for 4 through 6 period, and then you have 4 through 6. And then after 4 through 6, you'll normally have a formation as a company from anywhere like around 3:30, just to brief you on when you need to be back in the barracks and everything like that. And then so you have free time. You can go to Carla House if you play sports. You have practice. On Tuesdays and Wednesdays, you have intramurals for the first like 30 minutes of that free time, which is either football or frisbee. And then after free time, you shower, get back in uniform, get ready for dinner. Dinner's at 6, so you have dinner from about 6 to 7, and then at around 7:20, you will get ready for study hall, get your planners all filled out, everything like that. You'll have study hall from 7:30 to 9, depending on what company you're in, and then from there you just get ready for bed and get everything settled for the night, and then lights out around 9:15 to 9:30.
All right. Good job. So yeah, so pretty much, and the schedule for us is pretty much the same every day. We do have a little bit more flexibility on the weekends. These guys will get a sleep in or something like that. Sleep in is not until noon though, like maybe it is at home. What is it, guys? 8:30, 8 o'clock, something like that.
Depends on the tag
Yeah,
usually. Yeah.
Yeah.
For
yeah,
it's around we usually get it to 8:30.
yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Now we've got a good question that just came in. This must be a mom watching. This sounds good. What's the best thing you've learned about yourself since you've been at Camden? Good question. All right, so let's start out with Maddox on this one. What's the best thing you've learned about yourself?
Ooh, um, it's a it's a very thoughtful process. Well, one of the good things that I've learned is through rewards to get to a certain point. You have to work for it, and I mean, I've always been a hard worker, but certain things have been a lot harder to get to here. Um, and another thing is that to succeed, just for me personally, structure is a big part here, and it has helped me succeed tremendously, especially through grades. I mean, I think I left my public school last year around this time, actually just like a little over a month ago, with a very low GPA, and now I got the second highest GPA in my class, and I'm just extremely proud of myself. And I have a lot of great people around me that help me a lot, and it's just a lot of things. It's just through hard work comes a lot of rewards.
Yeah. And I think it was you, Maddox. I'm not sure. It may have been someone else that I was talking with just a day or two back. And, they told me that the reason or the one thing that they realized they needed here was structure. That at home, things just kind of, was fly by the seat of the pants, not really organized. And when you get here and everything's kind of laid out for you, the structure is really good. And I think that's good for most guys. We have students here with ADD, ADHD, things like that. And the structure and the organization that's occurs on a daily basis is, kind of a natural medicine for them. We do have students that are able to come in here and wean off the medication if they're on meds for ADD or ADHD. All right, so let's go find out from Bren. What's something you've learned about yourself or something changed since you've been at Camden?
Well, I realized with my schoolwork I need to be more organized. So I have like highlighters and separate notebooks. It's very important to be organized like that, and it helps. It goes a long way for something so simple, and also to just do what needs to be done in the moment, and uh, and get the small wins.
There you go. Very good. Fireball, we'll give you a chance to answer this one as well. What's something you've learned or something you've changed about yourself?
Well, personally, I've always had like big goals, but I've never really done anything about them. So what I've realized is like when I'm more positive about myself, the better rewards I get, the better I do in school, sports, stuff like that. I just think it's made me realize how important how important self thought is, I guess, and how you see yourself.
Yeah. And the motivation, and that's something that, I've kind of always practiced myself is, set small goals. I like having the great big goals, but it's also nice to have those small accomplishments along the way to keep you motivated, to keep you going, working towards that big goal. And we try to do that with these guys here too. All right, I have a question now for myself, actually, guys. So take a breath. Says, can you get in with failing grades from the year before? Yes. I mean, we hope that you're not failing, but if everything were perfect at home, you wouldn't be looking for an alternative. So we're not going to hold a GPA against you. The only time that we may, you know, look at a situation with grades or an issue, it's if a student is more than 1 or 2 years behind grade level in a particular subject area. So if you're like on a fifth grade, fourth grade math level, probably we would not be able to help you. We don't want to set you up for failure. But still, if your son has an IEP or 504 plan, anything like that, any special accommodations in schools, we'll be more than happy to take a look at those and see if we can accommodate here at CMA. So grades don't really matter. Are the sleeping quarters based on grade levels? I'll take this one as well. No. So basically, we try to split the numbers up. Again, with the 7th through 12th grade, we try to split it up so there's an equal number of 7th graders and an equal number of seniors and all in between in each barrack. So we don't want one TAC officer have to deal with all 7th graders, or one TAC officer to have to deal with all seniors, because of course they each bring their own set of problems and issues with them. So they're, a 7th grader is not, going to room with a senior. Your roommates usually no more than 1 year in age difference. And after you're here for a few weeks, if you meet a friend and you want to room with them, you can do that. You just have to get it approved by your tactical officer, who's the adult there in charge, and then you'll have a new roommate. All right. Oh, here's a fun question, guys. What's the discipline like here at CMA? What do we do? So let's throw that one out to Maddox.
Thank you. So we have this thing called PAD. It stands for Punishment and Discipline. And so if you get in trouble, disrespect, failure to do your chain of command, and so they basically give you a certain amount of tours, or now they go by days. So 3 days is equal to 25 tours. So now, if you were to get like 100 tours, they read it out as 12 days. And it's just like, you're basically just marching, and it's basically just time to, regroup and get your mind back in the game. And it's just, I mean, it goes good for some people, but I mean, for other people, it's just kind of repetitive. But I mean, a lot of tactical officers also do a lot more and try and help a lot of the cadets succeed.
Yeah. So I know we had some technical difficulties, I think, but when he was talking about the pad, so basically you're marching. When he was talking about tours as marching, you just march around a size of about a football field, and you get assigned a certain number of tours, and you have to march those off. We also have a merit and demerit system. So merits, of course, you get points for positive things, and demerits you get for negative. And but yeah, so that's part of our discipline as well. All right, got another question here about Xbox and phones, or Xbox and. All right, I think we are back live. Okay, sorry about the technical difficulties. So, forgot where we were. Who was talking?
I think it was
Somebody just broke the
Bren.
internet, literally. But I can't think of who it was. All right, well, we'll move on
Bren
to the
was
next
talking
question.
about. I don't remember.
Oh yeah, Xbox and phones.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
looks like Brent is still frozen. So, Fairball, why don't you tell us about Xbox and phones?
So yes, you are allowed to have Xbox and phones. Your first 2 weeks as a first 2 weeks at the beginning of the year for any cadet, you will have your phone taken just for an adjustment period. And if you're a new cadet coming in like at a different point in the semester and everyone has their phones, your phone still gets taken for the first 2 weeks, but you're allowed to keep your Xbox or PS4 for those weeks. And the only time they really get taken away is if you get in trouble with like getting pad, which is what Maddox was talking about, or just in trouble with your TAC officers and they feel like they're a distraction for you, and they will take it based off that.
All right. And then
well
we
as,
have a question coming in about what sports are available. So, Maddox, tell us what sports are available here at CMA.
Myself, I play football and baseball. They've both been sadly impacted by the COVID situation. Our football season was sadly canceled, but baseball's still a go right now. But so anywhere from, we have golf, tennis. We do a JROTC, blackjacks, which is like drill team. We have football, baseball, basketball. I'm not sure, but there might still be rifle shooting. We have cross country, track, lacrosse. So, I mean, 90% of the sports that you see at any other public school we have here. We don't have swimming, but we have a pretty wide variety. So any common sport that you play, we got it all.
Yeah, with 13 different sports. And like Maddox said, due to COVID, we did have some, cancellation of the fall sports, but spring sports is a go as of tonight. All right. Lots of questions coming in, guys. So thanks for hanging with us and continue using that hashtag Camden Military to get those questions in. So we're going to, how many students per company? So what we have here, we have about 300 students and we have 5 different companies. So that's going to put about 50 to 60 students in each company. Some companies are a little larger than others. That's why I say 50 to 60. And then within each company, you'll have platoons, squads. And so basically you have the battalion, which is the big one. The companies are a little smaller. The platoons are a little smaller. The squads are, and the squad's the smallest part. So, and you'll have leaders at each level. So lots of mentors and people to look up to there in the companies. Question, are there opportunities for off-campus field trips? Gosh, all these guys are too new. I think, have any of you ever experienced an off-campus field trip? Okay, Bren, you finally got to go on one? Okay, so Bren, tell us about your experience. Where did we go for you?
Well, we went to North Carolina to go on a skiing trip. And that must have been the most fun trip. I'm sorry, it wasn't North Carolina, it was Virginia. And it was a very fun trip. You get to room with 3 other guys, and it's an experience, and it's freedom for the weekend.
Yeah, and Maddox, how about you? Where did you go?
Well, so last year I got to go to a USC basketball game with a couple other cadets, and that was a great experience. Got to experience Columbia, the city, for my first time, and it's just a really good, just like kind of an exhale. I mean, you just get that one Saturday or whenever it is to go off campus and kind of relax and have fun, and it's just kind of like a relief. As well as I went off campus a couple times for a National History Day project. Got to talk to some really cool people last year, and it's just a great experience. But I mean, due to COVID, a lot of that's not happening, which is bad because new cadets don't get to really experience that. But I think if that happened, it would be a lot better.
Yeah, I mean, I think the trips are, integral to what we do here. It gives the guys a break. It's a stress buster. We talked about, the ski trip, but we have 11 or 12 trips per year scheduled. Typically, we're going to the theme parks down in Florida. We go to DC, like you said, snow skiing up in West Virginia. So lots of fun activities. And then, as Maddox said, we love going to the University sports and after class activities looking due to COVID. I'm glad that question got asked because I did want to talk about COVID a little bit. Right now, like I said, we've been very fortunate. No positive cases of COVID here on campus, but our after school activities, all of that, still a go. The sports that were canceled in the fall, we did have some, more intramurals. We had like an inter squad scrimmages, things like that. But the only thing that we're not doing right now is taking these guys into town for, Walmart trips or to grab Chick-fil-A or McDonald's or something. But other than that, everything else is normal here at the school. Now, one other big deal with COVID, we're not allowing any campus visitors. So these guys, they came in August and the first break they had was in December. They came back to us in early January. Their first break is going to be in May, the last day of school. So, but we have to do what we can to protect all these students, and so far so good. So I feel like we're doing something right. I know the guys don't particularly like that. They're all begging for a spring break and different things, but we did shorten our school year some, so they'll be getting out of here on May 9th. And guys, that's just a little over 2 months. So you can hold your breath that long. Also, admission standpoint, if you're a prospective parent and you want to visit, we are not letting any visitors on campus right now. Like I said, we do have a lot of online events going on. In the near future, we're going to start traveling again. We do our I call it road shows. We travel around to different cities all over the country and, hold a presentation in a hotel, in a conference room, and you come in and learn about the school, meet us one-on-one, that type thing. We typically invite alumni or parents from the area as well so that you can meet them. And we're trying our best to open the campus back up as quickly as possible for visitors. I had mentioned earlier, our last day of school is May 9th. We're going to have an open house, so any prospective families can come on May 10th. We're going to have an open house on May 10th, and then that following Saturday. And I'm not exactly sure the date, but it's the first Saturday after the 10th. Those two are guaranteed open house dates. Now, I cannot guarantee that students will be here for that. I would love to have some cadets stick around, but because they've been here since December and their first break is May 9th, I can't really expect them to stay here an extra day for me. So, can't guarantee students will be here, but we will try to get some of the guys that live more local, close by to come in and join us. All right. You want to jump back into some more questions? Still have a lot of good questions here. How about diversity amongst the teachers and students? I guess I'll answer this one too. Really, the school itself, the cadet corps is about 20% all non-white. So that's really high for a boarding school. And then diversity amongst the teachers, absolutely. I don't know the percentage of that, but yes, there's plenty of diversity. I guess the one area we lack in diversity is women. We have probably single digits that are actually in the classroom, within 5 or fewer that are actually in the classroom, because we like having the male influences, the male role models. And all of us adult males have been there where your sons are now, and so we know what they're thinking about. We know that girls are the priority, and cars and money and watches and everything but school. So we can kind of understand and relate, and we feel like that's a good thing. All right, now here's a good question. Basketball team, are they any good? That's a good question. Who played? One of you guys were a basketball player, right? Yep. Yeah, Fireball.
Yes,
All
sir.
right. I know we didn't have a season, but how did we look overall?
Well, I'm from Indiana, so basketball lives in Indiana. So I like to think of myself as a pretty decent basketball mind. I thought that we were pretty decent. We had some good athletes on the team for sure. I wish we had a season just to see. I've never really seen any high school teams other than Indiana, so I was very interested to see competition wise. I think that we lined up to be pretty solid though and finished good in our conference.
All right. Yeah, the all of our sports, it varies from year to year because unlike a public school, we don't know who is definitely coming back for that sport until that time is here. So, like our football team, we start school the 3rd week in August. Our first game is 2 weeks after the start of school, and we haven't had any summer practices or anything like that. So, we usually start out kind of slow in football and then gain momentum throughout the season. But I would say the majority of our sports are pretty strong. We have highs and lows. Probably one of the most popular sports on campus is lacrosse. I think we have a lot of guys playing lacrosse. Saw a lot of guys playing soccer today too. I kind of got in the spring mood. Took my dog on a walk around campus, and had varsity and JV going on out there. And yeah, I'm stoked. I want to see some competition. All right, let's see. Are you accepting students who will be in the 8th grade next year? Yes, we are accepting students no matter what grade you're going to be in next year. We're going to have 63 seniors graduate on May 9th, so we'll have to fill those 63 spots. And then we'll have more students who will probably not re-enroll. The average length of stay for a student here at CMA is 2 years. And with those 2 years, most families tell us that it's just too much of a financial stretch for them. So yes, but we will have space available in every grade here at CMA. Okay, question for the cadets. Do you find it hard to adjust socially and academically after coming from a public school? Great question.
I came on, I think it was January 8th. So it was about mid-year. That's typically, I wouldn't say it's the worst point to come in the year, but it's definitely one of the hardest, especially because, everybody's just getting back from that Christmas break, and nobody's really accustomed to being back here yet. But it's, the brotherhood, once again, it's a very strong part. So, once you get here, it's not like the real military where they're coming and they're screaming at you to get into a uniform, and you're unpacking all your stuff super rapidly. They're showing you how to do XYZ, and it's just they're kind of embracing you and making you feel like it's like a home away from home. So it's for me, it wasn't very hard, but it all depends on the person and especially their environment, specifically company and platoon-based interactions.
Yeah. Now, Garrett, you're the guy that, wins the prize for being the farthest away from home. So was it hard for you to adjust, either socially or academically coming from Oregon?
Yes, sir. It was definitely weird being like on the other side of the country because I was used to being with my friends and my family like every single day, and now I'm very far away, so it's definitely very different.
Did you find yourself, were you able to adjust? Did you make friends quickly?
Yeah, I definitely made a couple friends within the first like 2 weeks, quicker than I expected, and I got used to being gone pretty fast.
Yeah. Most of these guys experience homesickness. Fireball, you're from Indiana. So again, a good ways from home. Did you experience any homesickness while you were here?
Yeah, it was pretty bad. I've never really been away from home like this for more than a weekend or a week or so. So it was definitely difficult for me considering I'm close to my family and everything. But I think the cadets around me saw that I was experiencing that and they helped me through it for sure.
Yeah. And I think that's one thing, people sometimes ask me what separates us from another military school, and I really don't compare us to any other military schools. Um, but the one thing that I think that Camden offers that I don't see a whole lot of at other schools is the family-like atmosphere here. Um, you know, these guys are like four extra sons for me. So if they screw up, I'm going to, get on them. If they do well, I'm going to reward them. And it's more than just about seeing them in class. I hardly ever see these guys in class. I don't think any of you guys are in my class. I only teach one class, but, um, I know all of them. And, we were sitting around eating dinner, before this started back in our boardroom here in the building, and, just casual conversations. And I think that kind of helps, with the homesickness, that we're not so institutional like. I mentioned earlier, I was out walking my dog. I think two or three of the guys that are on tonight was petting her and things like that. And we're walking around and so we have dogs and cats and lots of green spaces. So it's not what you visualize and see in the movies. And the one thing I can say about the faculty, I've been here for 22 years. There's lots of tenure, lots of longevity here amongst the staff and faculty. Our headmaster's been here for 37 years. So, a long time. He started out as the football coach and then athletic director and now headmaster. So, we like what we do, and we feel like we're making a difference in these guys' lives, and that's why we're here. So, but yeah, I'll get off my soapbox now. All right. Is lacrosse for middle school students or just high school? It is for middle school. So it's whoever wants to go out and play. All of our sports, actually, we have a no cut policy. So if you're not, the best in a particular sport, or maybe you've never even played the sport before and you want to give it a shot, you're automatically on the team. So it's a no cut policy in all the sports except basketball. We do have to cut in that sport sometimes just because you can't take 50 guys with you, on a basketball bench. Um, all right, got a question coming in. I think this must be from a mom or dad. It says, son's biggest fear is about being shy at first, making friends. What do we do in the beginning to make you become more social? And what's the first day like for a new student? So, Bryn, what would you say? Go back to your very first day here. What was it like for you, and describe it and try to make this guy feel a little better.
Well, my first day felt like I was there for a week. It was very warming. Like everyone came to me, they helped me. They taught me how to make my bed correctly. They taught me how to fold my clothes correctly. And it's also about how it's the reciprocate that that really makes it a bond. And as long as the cadets are kind, then they're going to be kind to you, and they're very helpful. They will try to help.
Yeah. And, I think that's something that people kind of think is that, when you get here, you're kind of all on your own, but you're not. There's a culmination of the first 3 weeks of school that we have the Spartan Challenge. And we actually were talking about that in the green room prior to going live. And to me, that's one of the things where you can actually see. I love that day because I've usually interviewed the students that are coming in, and they were really nervous about coming in, but that Spartan Challenge, I can start to see them gel and fit in, and they're yelling and screaming and competing because it's basically an outdoor field day with some out of the ordinary competitions thrown in there. But how would you describe it, Fireball? Were you your first day? Was it
Yeah.
hard to?
It was definitely different. We kind of went in blind with the whole COVID thing. We were planning on visiting, but with COVID, we couldn't. So for me, it was interesting. I didn't really know what to expect. I learned quickly to say yes, sir, because I said yeah, made that mistake and got yelled at immediately. But I think it was cool for me just when I brought my bags in. Every cadet who was there helped me organize my stuff. Your roommate's helpful. For me, he's been here for like 4 years. My roommate that I had originally. So he was very helpful, helped me with everything. I just think all the cadets are there to help you. They're all, as long as you're nice to them, like Brent said, they're nice back. So I think that's a big thing for sure.
All right, good job. Okay, got another question. What kind of social clubs are available? Social clubs, I guess we have lots of clubs here on campus that I guess you could consider social clubs. We have chess clubs, debate, yearbook. We just had this morning. We talked about clubs, history club. There's National History Day. There's tons of things to get involved in, junior leadership. And some of those clubs, including robotics, you're able to go off campus, and we network with the public school system here. So some of these guys will meet girls there and develop relationships and have girlfriends and that kind of thing. So again, due to COVID, we've not been able to do some of that this year because we don't want our kids, we don't want to get out of our own bubble here. But yeah, so there is opportunity to get off campus and go into town and meet some people. I always kind of throw in, I raised my daughter here on campus, and I was always scared. I told all the cadets that I have an imaginary electric fence around my yard. So if you step across the line, be prepared. You're going to get zapped. But we never had any issues. Another question just came in: is there flag football here on campus? So I actually saw some people playing flag football today. So Garrett, tell us about intramurals and how often do you get to play flag football?
So we have intramurals usually every Tuesday and Thursday, and like on those days, then we play flag football more than anything else. So we were playing that today, and if not flag football, then we're usually playing ultimate frisbee and stuff like that. So we play flag football pretty often.
Yeah. And we're going to have on Thursday, we're going to have our first field day. We actually got up to 70 here in Camden, and it didn't rain because it actually felt like we were in Seattle where it rains all the time. But so the weather's starting to turn around. So on Thursday, we're going to have a nice day. We're going to have half day of classes. We're going to get out and have a field day. The middle school guys are actually having a flag football tournament, and the older guys, I think, is kickball tournament going on. So we're going to have some fun there. We're going to have a pig picking, which might be new for someone from Oregon, which we had one earlier in the year. But yeah, some barbecue. But yeah, so we're going to have some fun on Thursday. What are you allowed to bring from home is a good question. We'll actually provide you a very detailed list of everything to bring with you and what's allowed and what's not allowed. But pretty much if it's in your room now, you're allowed to bring it. Now you can't cover the room wall-to-wall posters or anything, obnoxious like that, but you are allowed one wall hanging. You can bring, like we talked earlier, the cell phones, the Xboxes, those type things. So, but we'll give you a pretty detailed list. But obvious things not to bring. You can't bring weapons. You can't bring fireworks. You can't bring pets. Things like that. So we have had actually some pets brought in before and kept over in the biology lab if it's a lizard or a fish or something like that. But no dogs, cats, lions, tigers, monkeys, anything like that. All right, and no emotional support pets. People will try to use that to get a pet in, and we're not going to have emotional support pets either. All right, guys, we're getting close to the end, and again, I apologize for the technical difficulties earlier. I hope we didn't miss anyone's questions, but if you do have questions still after we sign off here, just send me an email. You can go to our website. Any email that you send from our website actually comes to me personally, and I can respond to you pretty quickly. So I'll be checking my email for a couple hours tonight once we sign off. I also want to invite you to participate in some of our weekly Zoom sessions. I think those are really, really informative. And, you get to ask the questions directly to the students and hear their feedback. And I think that's beneficial, especially for an apprehensive student. So, take advantage of those opportunities. And then if you can come visit, we're going to be posting open house dates throughout the summer. We'll probably at least have one per month where you can come on campus and visit. Again, that's provided the virus doesn't go crazy again here on us and have any rise in numbers or anything. But yes, so I think that does it for us tonight. But thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. And we'll hope to see you here in Camden soon. Have a good night.